Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. Before we jump into anything else, I do want to give a huge thank you to everyone who continues to watch my videos on a daily basis, everyone who likes the videos, comments in the comment section, and of course for all of you who subscribe. We've been doing this for quite a while now, coming up on I think 2.5 years at this point, which is pretty awesome. And we hit a huge milestone today, which I want to quickly celebrate, which is the posting of 500 videos to this channel. That's definitely a lot of videos, so again, thank you for everyone who has watched, and thank you again especially to those who have been here from the beginning, who have probably seen the majority, if not all, of those 500 videos. You guys are all awesome. And for those newcomers to the channel, welcome, and I hope you stick around. Anyways, for today's video, we're gonna skip the weekly reset, because honestly, I'm not playing the game right now. I just got into Sea of Thieves, which is super fun, by the way, and you can definitely expect some Sea of Thieves content on the channel pretty soon. But I did want to take this as an opportunity to give a quick breakdown of the March 27th update. I think this is what I believe to be one of 3 major updates that Bungie is going to be putting out this year, which is hopefully intending to bring players back and make the game a lot more fun and engaging. We have this March update, we have the update in May that is going to be introducing a lot of features, not to mention the second DLC, and then we have a planned fall expansion, which if it serves like Taken King did for Destiny 1, should change up the game quite a bit. And to help us go through that, we can take a look at the 3rd updated roadmap, which was just released a few days ago during this week at Bungie. And so let's take a quick look at that and break it down line by line. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's just jump right into it. We've got the first item, which is the weapon and ability sandbox changes. This is going to be the sort of frontlining new feature, and the reason it's called the Go Fast update. This is designed to make your character a lot faster, more powerful, and will introduce a lot of buffs to a lot of weapons. So we outlined some of these already, but let's go over some of the highlights. First up, we have all glides, catapult, and strafe lift have been buffed. So these are going to make you a lot faster. Glides are going to be a little bit more accurate and a little bit faster as well, and you should feel a lot more mobile. And then we've got player ground top speed has increased, which will increase all players' maximum sprint speed, and this is going to help definitely on consoles where the FOV is a little bit narrower, making you feel a little bit slower than you normally would. Moving on, we've got Titan shoulder charges restored to their former glory, and they've already told us this is something that they mistakenly changed. They decided that it was against their philosophy in making the game to sort of punish us for using something like this for mobility, so that's being restored back to the way it was. Arcstrider, Sentinel, and Striker are faster, which I definitely like, because honestly you felt a little bit slow, and it was a little silly that you would activate your super and you would spend most of it chasing down your enemies. So I'm very happy this is in there. And then next up we have some improvements to Dawnblade, which I'm very happy about. You're going to be able to get more of the swings in, your super is going to last a little bit longer, and I believe it's going to do a little bit more damage and should make Dawnblade a lot more popular than it currently is. And then you've got invisibility on dodge has been retuned. It doesn't completely break the tracking as it used to, but in its place it does last a little bit longer. And so it's sort of being tuned to what Bungie's vision is for dodge and for invisibility, which is really just to get out of the situation, not to use it to sort of hack a tracking ability. So that's fine, whatever. And then we've got supers recharged 25% faster. This is a pretty big deal. If you were around for the Destiny 2 beta, you already know that the supers charged very slowly, and they fixed it for PvP, but now it's actually 25% faster across the board, and that does shave about 1.5 minutes off of your supercharge, so that's going to mean that you get your supers that much faster. I'm very curious to see how this works in PvP, and how many times you're going to be able to activate your super during a match. You might be closer to 3, if not 4 times, depending on how well you're doing, of course. And then we've got cooldown mods have been buffed 2 times, and this is not replacing the mods 2.0, which is supposed to be the complete redesign, and of course that has been unfortunately delayed past the May expansion. And so to hold us over, any mods that have to do with ability cooldowns are not going to be twice as effective. So this should be very interesting. Not going to be super game changing, but I'll be very curious to see if it's noticeable at all. Moving on, let's take a look at some of the highlights for weapon tuning. We start with increased PvE damage for every weapon, except for auto rifles, launchers, both grenade and rocket, fusion rifles, and swords. So this should make every other weapon choice a lot more attractive and should make you feel a lot more powerful. Next up, we have increased base damage for pulse rifles and high impact scouts. So you can see this as a sort of two-step buff to their damage and should make pulse rifles a lot more effective, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'm also going to be very curious to see how high impact scouts fare. They might just turn into little mini sniper rifles, which could be pretty cool. But of course, in typical Bungie fashion, we don't have specific numbers here, so this could be something like 0.05% more powerful. We'll have to probably wait until the patch drops to get more specific numbers. Next up, we have high impact pulse rifles buff to precision multiplier, should make them more popular. Increased reserve ammo for sidearms, SMGs, snipers, and shotguns. Snipers and shotguns definitely needed more reserve ammo, and I hope it's noticeable and significant for those weapons. Next up, we have buff to weapon perks like high impact reserves, kill clip, rampage, and dragonfly. So again, this gives us a good picture of the areas they're looking into. Again, we're going to have to wait for more specific numbers to see exactly how much these are going to be changing. Again, hopefully it's going to be noticeable. Moving right along, the second line item is going to be Iron Banner 6v6, and we can talk about this at the same time as talking about the weekly Crucible playlists of Mayhem and Rumble, because they're sort of related to each other. So Iron Banner 6v6 is very hotly anticipated. It's going to go back to the way things were in Destiny 1. This is one of the sort of criticisms I had, mostly because they haven't really given us their intentions on why they're introducing 6v6 back into the mix. Part of me thinks it's just an experiment to see whether or not they should add permanent 6v6 playlists. But essentially, the reason these two are related is because they're going to be rotating all together, like I predicted. So the first week it's going to be Rumble, then Mayhem, then Iron Banner 6v6, and then it's going to rotate back to Rumble, Mayhem again, and then Iron Banner again. They gave us a peek into what that will look like after the update. You can see here that every 3 weeks they are rotating in and out. Obviously this is a week short of a true rotation, but I think this is to help pull Iron Banner out of the end of the month slot that the last delay caused it to fall into. I hope they find a third game mode to rotate in, or you know, just have Mayhem and Rumble become permanent additions. That wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Anyways, the next item is Crucible ammo and gameplay tuning. We have a little summary of what this is going to look like. First up, we have respawn and revive timers have been significantly reduced. Players don't lose revive tokens on death. Power ammo respawn rates have been reduced by 25 to 50% depending on the game mode. Enemy players drop ammo on death. This is in every game mode, and you can pick it up regardless of whether or not the person was on your team. They do despawn after a while, so it is only available for a limited time. Remove tracker from competitive modes. This is a pretty significant change, and I hope it really does inspire a lot more teamwork and communication, which should complement the new ranking system coming in May quite nicely. Next up, we have Crucible quitter penalties. I don't believe we have specifics on what this is going to entail, but I think it'll be something as simple as just not receiving rewards for a period of time or until the game is complete. This will be the first time in Destiny we see anything in the remote area of quitter penalties, so I'll be very curious to see what it ends up being. Next up, we have repeat Crucible map and strike protection. This will help increase the variety of strikes and Crucible maps. Purely random systems have a chance to pick the same map twice, so they're going to make things less random to ensure variety. Next up, we have exotic repetition reduction. I'm not sure this is wholly necessary, although I do feel like the majority of my disdain for the Fighting Lion is because I got it 5 times in a row before my first sweet business. But of course, now with Xur selling the Fated Engram, I'm not really sure it's still necessary. Anyways, moving on, we have the other big item, which is Nightfall Strike unique rewards. We don't know what they are quite yet. I really hope that it's actual gear and not cosmetics. I'm not sure if that was confirmed. Let me know in the comments below. But I hope that we're talking real guns and armor. My assumption is that each strike will have one piece of gear. Again, we haven't seen what these are, much less under what conditions they will be awarded, but it's nice to have some new gear in the game finally, and let's just hope that they're not just reskins, because that would be kind of ridiculous at this point. And then finally, we have companion vendor viewing. Not super excited about this. I don't really use the app a whole lot, but it's going to let you view the vendor stocks from the app, which is really only useful, I think, for checking Benedict to see if he's selling the right raid item for you that week. Until we get some actual vendor stock rotations other than Eververse, I don't think this is going to be very much used. Anyways, one final detail to note is that Heroic Strike modifiers have been pushed to Season 3 with the May update. They said they encountered some nasty bugs that prevented them from putting them back into the game, so we should see them in May. The silver lining is that they're going to be able to include a lot more modifiers than they originally were going to, so at least there's that. And that's pretty much the end of the overview for the March update. So the big question is this enough to make the game fun again? As we've spent a couple months in the post-mortem of Destiny 2, and we've observed the updates that they're deploying, at least mine, but I know definitely others' focuses have also shifted to analyzing the fundamental issues with the game. We have some time to breathe. This is as good a time as any to dive in a little bit deeper. The answer most of us have come up with, including you guys as well, is that the game just doesn't have exciting progression. The loot is too predictable, undervalued, boring. The way armor and subclasses work don't allow for much customization or true horizontal progression like it did in Destiny 1. We just don't feel very invested in our characters. The encounters themselves are just fine, if not really exciting at times. Just all the rewards fall short and don't relay the sense of achievement that we need. So hopefully the March update will offer up some of that, but for the changes required, we may not be able to see them until fall, unless they somehow really surprise us in May. Anyways, let me know in the comments below if you're excited for the March 27th update. Are you going to be jumping in and testing out the new mechanics? Let's discuss. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more Destiny content. And I will see you all next time.